Can I ask you something? Have you ever made a decision that you knew was the right one, but somehow it still broke your heart? It's a very strange feeling because everybody around you expects you to be excited. They are going to congratulate you, they tell you, oh, you're so brave. But quietly inside, you wonder, why am I so sad? And I know that feeling. And for a very long time, I thought something was really wrong with me. I think that we were taught to look at grief in a very specific way. We usually associate it with losing someone that we loved. But over the years, I realized that we grieve at many other things. We grieve careers, relationships, places, and futures that we thought were going to happen. But nobody really prepares us for that. And we always talk about, okay, opportunities, risks we're taking, and the excitement around that. But nobody talks about what happens afterwards. The quiet moments, the doubt, the sadness that sometimes appears even when you know you took the right decision. And that's something that I experienced myself. A few years ago, I made one of the biggest decisions of my life. After my marriage ended, I knew I realized something had to change. And, not that I needed to leave Ireland because Ireland wasn't good. It really was my home. It became my home. I had my own house. I had a nice job. I had friends. There was a routine. And from the outside, everything looked fine. But somehow I knew I had to start over. And I remember the last days that I was there. And furniture disappearing, boxes everywhere. And yeah, it slowly felt less like home every other day. And then came the day that I was leaving. So I went in the house and I walked through every single room, not to see if I forgot something, but I think I just wanted to remember, kitchen, the living room, the wonderful moments that happened there, although at the time not realizing how valuable they are. Anyways, then I walked out and I closed the door and I just stood there for a few seconds. And I felt actually incredibly sad, although I knew I was making the right decision. Yeah. A few days later, I woke up in Germany. New life, new streets, new apartment, new beginning. And I remember I made a coffee and I was standing by the window and I was looking outside. And I was thinking, did I just make the biggest mistake in my life? Because nobody tells you that even when you made the right decision, you can still be very sad. And after a while, actually, I realized that I wasn't really grieving Ireland. I was grieving the life that I thought would happen. Maybe you've never moved countries, and maybe your story is completely different. Maybe you moved careers, maybe you sold a house, or maybe you walked away from something that at that time meant everything to you. I think the feeling is exactly the same. And maybe sadness is not about making a wrong decision. Maybe sadness just means that what we left behind really mattered. And when you look at it, it's actually quite beautiful. Because if it didn't matter, if we didn't care about it, we wouldn't have outgrown it. If you're standing in the middle of a new chapter and you wonder why things feel much harder than you expected, maybe nothing is wrong with you. Maybe you're just saying goodbye to a chapter that really mattered. And maybe that's part of building a life that is more honest. Thanks for walking with me.